It's coming up for a year since the release of X4 Foundations, and during that time, Egosoft seemed to have been continuously working on the game. The latest update, 2.5, brought a number of new fixes and improvements that we will get into in just a bit. However, it's the next updates that have the X4 community's attention. Update 3.0 of the game is on the horizon, and along with that, Egosoft have announced the first full expansion for X4 called Split Vendetta. The expansion, by all accounts, will dramatically increase the scope of the game in almost all areas, and as you'll have noticed from the expansion's title, the alien race known as the Split are going to play a significant part. Split Vendetta is still a little way from release right now, with Q4 being the current announced release window. However, Egosoft have been releasing bits and pieces of information on what to expect, along with the new announcement trailer which you can see on the screen right here. So, what does the update include? Well, the update will firstly increase the size of the playable galaxy, and this will likely be happening by introducing the split sectors and maybe other sectors as well. However, Egosoft have not mentioned specifics on this, so the number of new sectors is still unknown at this point. The aliens themselves, the Split, will arrive in 2 distinct clans. Players will be free to choose whether they want to trade with the Split or fight them. Conquering their space may feel like a nice option for many players as well. The aliens aren't just arriving on their own, however. They will be accompanied by their own economy, ships, weapons and station modules. Apparently, players will be able to use these modules in their own station designs, which should open up the options for player-owned stations quite significantly. There's no mention, however, whether or not players will be able to use and own split ships. My guess would be that this seems likely, but really, who knows? Hopefully we'll see more information on that soon. Now, as already mentioned, Update 3.0 will be releasing around the same time as the Split Vendetta, and interestingly there does appear to be some overlap between the two updates. What I mean by this is that they both contain a number of related features. For example, Update 3.0 will contain new missions. It appears that the Split Vendetta will also contain new missions, and there will also be a number of new game starts. Now currently, anyone who starts a new game save in X4 will be presented with numerous starting options, which includes different ships, starting credits, difficulty and other things. Update 3.0 and Split Vendetta then will offer new starts in addition to the current ones. Update 3.0 meanwhile will include some rather large changes to the sector system. So for those of you who may be unaware, the sector system is essentially the separate areas or regions of space. You can travel between these, however in many respects they are self-contained with stations, ships, trade routes and everything else. Sectors are basically owned by individual game factions. What the new 3.0 update will bring is the ability for players to take control and own sectors, and this will essentially allow players to actually become a faction and also allow them to set rules for their sectors. 3.0 will also allow players to dock a station whilst in their spacesuit. It's a nice touch that frees players from their ships, along with the ability to get NPCs to transport you to missions, and this will add significantly to the on-foot aspects of X4. Update 3.0 will be free to all owners of X4 Foundations. Meanwhile, the expansion Split Vendetta is a paid DLC that will cost £12.49 or $15 US. If you're an owner of one of the X4 Collector's Editions, however, you will not have to pay for the Split Vendetta as it is already included in your purchase. Split Vendetta is the first of 2 paid expansions. Of course, there's no information whatsoever on the second paid update just yet, and I wouldn't expect to see anything on this for quite some time. In the meantime, however, if you haven't returned to X4 for quite a while, now isn't a bad time at all to take a look. The 2.5 update arrived in May, and this brought with it a huge list of fixes and improvements. It also included the following new features: new resupply ships, sector blacklist settings to give better control over where your ships can and cannot travel, inventory management with space-based lockboxes and inventory storage at the player HQ. Also, it added Tobii eye tracking support. The The fixes, of course, continue to remain important. Over the past year or so, there's been quite a number of issues with X4 Foundations that people have experienced as they've progressed through the game and built up their empire. But Egosoft are nothing if not very, very dedicated. They've done a lot of very good work here, and I look forward to seeing more. There'll be more information very soon on X4 Foundations, so do keep an eye out for that, and I will of course be covering the game over the coming days, weeks and months. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.